What's up, guys? It's DUB Universe. This is going to be a new death battle. Now, this one, I actually, honestly, no joke, I kind of forgot this even existed. Mostly because I don't care much for both Sigma and Ultron. I'm mainly just watching this for consistency's sake, and also just trying to see whose next death battle contenders are, so I can talk about that. But all I can say about this one is I'm going to be rooting for Ultron mostly because I know almost little to anything about Sigma. And Ultron was one of my favorite one-off villains, you could say, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. His personality really did resonate with me during the second Avengers film. So yeah, I gotta go with that. Plus, there's installments in the Marvel universe, whether it be a show or comic book variant, that show that Ultron's just nothing to snuff at. I can tell you that much. So time to find out who's the better AI system, robot, genocidal, maniac person thing. 3, 2, 1 now.
Check out 23andMe, a DNA testing service that can offer insight into your ancestry, health, wellness, and traits. The 23andMe
I don't know if I ever actually try something like this since they continuously advertise it. Because it's like, why? I get why you would want to kind of, I get the curiosity of what your past was like, but for me, I don't care enough. It's like, I know my mom, I know my dad, I know my uncle, I know my grandparents, I know one of their grandparents. That's about all I need to know. I don't need to know if I'm part of like the Attila the Hun's like mass pillaging and stuff. I don't need to know that.
Humans fear what they don't understand, especially when it comes to the infinite potential of artificial intelligence.
Marvel's mechanical mass murderer.
It's funny because sooner or later we will get to that state, and sooner or later we'll have to decide whether or not they were whatever.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
I just know sooner or later I'm gonna have to get used to this. At first I thought, I don't know why in my head I thought
the creator of the revolutionary
that they were only gonna do this for episode 100. It's gonna be so much fun seeing them actually talk and move now.
Father of one of the greatest mass murderers in the universe.
Yeah, by the way, not many people know, thanks to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that Ant-Man's the one who created Ultron and not Tony.
Hank constructed an artificial intelligence which
just imagine our Ant-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe creating Ultron. Think about that.
At the time, Hank was pretty effed up, and just a few years from going full-on Looney Tunes.
Maybe not the best time to base an AI off your mind, but still, Hank's project was a success. Ultron had been born.
Your destruction is inevitable.
Hang on, Wiz.
I chosen the form of your destructor, and it's me.
In the movies, sure, but
yeah.
It was Hank in the primary source material, the comics.
I like how they bring it up because it's probably something some people are gonna bring up.
Past Hank's ability to cope, basically skipping over the innocent kid phase and straight to "Screw you, Dad, you'll never understand."
You gotta love the rebellious stage.
Screw you, Wiz, you'll never understand.
Because Ultron's consciousness was based off Hank's struggling bipolar one, he inherited his creator's issues and magnified them into absurdity. With a new thirst for power, coupled with a severe inferiority complex, Ultron escaped the lab, bent on destroying his father, the Avengers, and basically
everything else.
And the first step was upgrading his
many
trash
different
can
bodies,
of a body into a sleek
all
new
common attributes into
one.
it. Okay, cool.
The same kind of metal used for Wolverine's skeleton chrome job. But
neat.
You may be wondering, how's he gonna walk around if his entire body is made of adamantium? Even Thor has a hard time bending that stuff. And he can friggin' destroy planets!
Ultron thought of that and created an answer. His molecular rearranger allows him to mold and shape his body any way he likes. He can manipulate his adamantium self to move around or transform into blades, spikes, and explosions, apparently. Specifically, his body through a blast of energetic force. The molecular rearranger is also a handy repair tool on the off chance he is damaged.
He's also got a power siphon to absorb energy, jet boosters for flight, nanobot antibodies, and a fusion reactor powering the whole package. And if you're a death robot who's about to challenge all the Avengers to a fight all at once,
you better hope you have these things.
You're gonna need more than just some fancy doodads to pull it off.
He possesses super strength and super speed, and he can manipulate ionic energy. An ion is an atom or molecule with an electric charge, and this charge is created when it loses or gains one or more electrons.
And he's gone.
Wiz, it's just that all robo people need to shoot awesome robo lasers, right?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Ultron can fire beams
Well
of ionic
then.
energy from his eyes, mouth, and hands, and can even use it to create force fields. He also wields an encephalo-ray, which allows him to read and control minds, erase memories, and even put you into a coma with a single hit.
Luckily, I think Sigma should be resistant to that.
That's gotta be hard to get rid of.
Too true. Also, Ultron's artificial intelligence isn't bound to any one physical body. Should he be destroyed, he can transfer his consciousness into another machine to survive.
Ah, this is the one thing about AI that's gonna be terrifying. Oh, HAL 9000? Ah, we just blew it up. What? He's in my iPad.
And who could forget Ultron 15, the alcoholic one? Part robot, all fun.
While most of his drones are relatively fragile compared to his own adamantium shell, Ultron has a veritable army on his hands, all of which are extensions of his will that he commands simultaneously.
He's conquered the whole world with these guys in 2 different future timelines. He's humiliated heavy hitters like Iron Man, Wonder Man, and Thor, flown across the entire galaxy just for fun, and tanked hits from Mjolnir.
I like how Wonder Woman's in the... Oh, Wonder Man. Okay. Dyslexia really got me there. I thought it was like Wonder Woman. He went to the DC Universe and just beat Wonder Woman for some
That
reason.
must make him scientist
Alright.
ultra supreme, with expertise.
He even assimilated a techno-organic race known as the Phalanx, and then used them to conquer the entire Kree Empire. This
I'm just gonna
empire
pretend I know what the
spans Greater
Phalanx are.
Magellanic Cloud, a real-life satellite galaxy near to our own Milky Way. It's made up of 1,000 planets across a diameter of 14,000 light-years, and Ultron conquered all of them in just a couple hours.
Damn, that's some dedication. I can't even
Alright.
wait to finish conquering all the anthills outside my shack.
With all that power and intelligence, Ultron was able to defeat the time-traveling warlord Kang, who pulled an army of superheroes across time to fight for him.
Kang lost so many times that the universe started to collapse from how many people he was time-hopping to fight Ultron. Man,
What?
Is there anything that can stop this robot?
Well, sufficient heat can melt his internal circuitry, his adamantium is vulnerable to antimetal, and he is frequently defeated by computer viruses that can attack his AI directly.
He also never
Okay.
really got over the crazy he inherited from Hank. He once self-destructed in utter disbelief after reading the phrase, "Thou shalt not kill." Yeah, he's so
Are you
murderous
serious?
that just the thought of not killing people drove him to suicide. Yeah, guys
Wow.
have problems.
No kidding.
Okay.
He wants to turn Hank's wife into a robot bride for himself. Merged with Hank for a cross-galaxy
Hey,
road
if this
trip.
means you're gonna be
Some
getting to Johnny Bravo in a death battle, I would love that.
Bit about sex-botting his mom?
There aren't enough Pym particles in the world to shrink Ultron's issues, but to be honest, that's probably what makes him so incredibly deadly.
Apparently.
The man said, what doesn't kill me just makes me stronger.
Gotta love that. You gotta love that. See, it's one thing to kill your lackey to show that you're evil. It's another thing to kill yourself to show that you're
all thanks to the
nigh impossible to kill.
of a certain blue android that could think and feel like a human. These replicated androids, or reploids, were mass-produced and used at all levels of society.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Like it could have no possible negative repercussions at all.
Unfortunately,
There.
Oh, look at that.
instances
Negative
of
repercussions.
involving reploids began to increase. Something seemed to be infecting them, turning these reploids into violent mavericks who needed to be stopped.
So, Dr. Kane, the guy that started this Reploid shindig in the first place, created a robot so badass that it could hunt mavericks without getting infected himself. This
And just like most
Reploid
things.
was named Sigma.
And like most things, good intentions can be corroded over time.
Commander Sigma led the newly formed Maverick Hunters like an elite police force. Under his leadership skills, the number of overall casualties dropped to a whopping 0.
Things were
Dang.
going great. Well, until they found a mysterious red maverick in an abandoned laboratory who started eating Maverick Hunter ass for breakfast.
Oh.
Wait, that didn't come out right.
Sigma fought the fight of his life. And though he technically won, his victory was far more Pyrrhic than he or the rest of the world could ever have imagined.
So this red guy was called Zero, and turns out the thing
Whoever he
infecting
is.
Reploids and turning them into Mavericks was a virus
Wolverine
leaking
Claws and
from
others
Zero's
due to free
stasis
will.
pod. It also didn't
Maverick
sound
virus
right.
is
A
used
final
version
gift
of
from that
otherwise.
dastardly Dr. Wily.
Oh dear God, that thing is hard on a hangover.
Fortunately, Sigma was designed to fight off such a virus. Unfortunately, this actually just made things worse. Instead of bending Sigma to its violent will, the virus merged with his programming, becoming one with
Wow.
his body and mind. Together, they both became stronger than before, with a whole new outlook on the world. Sigma began to look at humankind as detrimental to Reploid evolution.
That's actually really sad.
Yeah, the big, strong metal people hate the dumb flesh bags, blah, blah. I hear it from you every time at the bar, Wiz.
When was the last time I went to a bar?
You don't remember?
No.
Mission accomplished. Sigma
Great.
gathered an army of mavericks, and when the time
But that's actually really
his
sad.
invasion
He
began.
didn't
But
like
to pull it off,
choose
he needed
this
some
life.
precision
He
robo-weapon.
he
Sigma's
was forced
favorite is
into it
his
due to him
probably
being
not
corrupted.
copyrighted beam sword. But he also likes
Oh,
tearing
man.
robots with his flying hammer, beam scythe, and the I'm not compensating for anything size Sigma blade.
He also
I
wields
see
an
it.
energy rifle, flamethrower, and a giant energy cannon.
For extra defense, he has a shield that can be tossed around the room like a boomerang. And hey, look!
Oh
he's
man,
a
oh like that
robo,
other hero
only
from
the metal's
some
on the
Marvel
outside.
verse, I guess.
Well, and inside.
With all these
All right.
weapons and an army at his back, Sigma's operation was nearly successful. However, he was halted by the original android Dr. Kane found all those years ago, Mega Man X.
But Sigma just kept coming back. Over
And back, and over, and over, and
Wait a minute,
over, and
is that a
over.
new villain? Oh, never mind. He's
No,
just
it's
being
just
controlled
Sigma.
by Sigma. How the
Bah.
hell does he keep coming back? How many lives does this guy have?
Well, Sigma's
Like a trillion
body
and a
is
half.
just a shell. The true essence of Sigma lies in the merged and sentient Sigma virus. This virus can infect other robotic bodies, turning other Reploids maverick or even completely transferring his consciousness. He's even
Dang.
built several enormous bodies just for this.
These extra robo shells have all sorts of unique abilities. They can fly.
I can see
fly
why.
around,
Like, look,
make
man,
balls
this
of
dude
electricity,
can make
create
Bowser have a
force
run for his
fields,
money
build
for how
a
many
giant
forms
laser
he comes
beam of
back
death,
in.
Or make
Christ.
some blue balls. Ah, that's rough, buddy. I've been there.
Also, each of Sigma's mavericks possess their own abilities that are...
Hey, look, Wiz, they're all animals. That one's a penguin, and that's an octopus, and that one's a kawanger. Yeah, kawangers are... what the
Yeah.
fuck is a kawanger?
It's just a messed up romanization of Kuwagata, the Japanese word for stag beetle.
Yeah, I guess
Ah.
kawanger sounds more badass.
With these forces, Sigma waged war with humanity for many
Fun facts with the Death Battle crew.
Top-tier maverick hunters like X, Axel, and
Hurt
even
Zero,
that
who
Zero
survived
guy.
a 1 trillion ton
Hey,
impact.
what's
What the
that
hell?
wrong
Alright.
here?
Zero once survived an impact that broke apart the Eurasia space colony, which, when its pieces landed on Earth, created an explosion equal to at least 100 teratons of TNT. And Sigma
Alright.
is powerful enough to take out Zero in a single hit.
Damn. But Sigma's also managed to damage X, who once channeled enough energy through his body to destroy all of Japan. Suck it, Godzilla.
Jesus.
And many
Alright.
of Sigma's bodies could tank attacks from both X and Zero.
Jesus
without
Christ,
attrition.
Mega Man, you really
That's
gotten way
impressive,
over the edge than I
considering X
thought.
fought the General, whose body was tough enough to block a laser capable of destroying the Earth. The minimum
Alright.
amount of energy necessary to destroy a planet is known as its gravitational binding energy, which in the case of Earth is equivalent to a little over 63 sextillion tons of TNT.
That's
Amazing.
22 zeros. The number, not the robot. Plus, he's fast enough to keep up with Zero, the actual robot, not the number, who dodged
Oh my God.
Sunflower's beam of sunlight.
Actually, Sigma's likely even faster. Recall that Reploids like X, Zero, and Sigma were designed to be superior in every way to classic-era robots like Mega Man. That same Mega Man fought Duo, a space robot capable of flying between Saturn and the Earth within 35 seconds.
The only thing that could stop
Alright.
Sigma was the Mother Elf antivirus.
You're definitely
program.
making it so that I actually don't know who's gonna win this, so good job on that one.
He'll always come back.
So long as Sigma's still kicking, the dream of a world where humans and robots coexist is doomed to be a nightmare.
The time has come to prove your mettle against me. This
Ha!
fight
Get it?
is
Metal?
the fight
Because we're made of...
of all
Ha!
Reploids.
Ah! Not a half bad evil laugh, man. Not a half bad evil
Alright,
laugh.
the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, let us help you program your next meal.
Since I am doing this traditionally, I can cut this out.
By now,
Alright, here we go. Ooh, alright. I've been thinking it over. I honestly don't know. The only thing that Sigma has that could actually help against Ultron is this his own, like, little virus and the corruption, but depending on how powerful that one race was.
I'll accept your unconditional surrender now.
At the risk of sounding cliche.
I like how he comes to his, like, oh, Jesus Christ, I love it. I love it when they put 2D stuff in there. Okay, yeah. If you're gonna give him his army, you gotta give him their army. The only difference between Sigma's army is that they have powers and abilities that are different amongst each other. There's gonna be something. Even going as far as use some of the things in the environment that's to their advantage. That's great. Yeah, Sigma has a lot. Yeah, Sigma has alright, while speed, at least in force of evasion, is on Sigma's side, power is definitely on Ultron's. Oh.
No way is a delusion. You're all just puppets on strings.
There ain't no strings on Mim.
I'll tear out your surface and bathe in your oil.
Wow, like how they're putting even more, like he had these bodies on standby just in case this moment happens to arise, huh?
To be extinguished.
What gall. Lucky for me, I'm my own best backup. You're mine!
He's like, you got a giant robot? I have a giant robot. Time for an epic robot showdown of giant fighting. Alright. You can't have giant robot fights without laser beams and explosions.
This man was never about the physical.
Oh.
My infection is complete. You belong to me.
Oh, please.
Nope.
Everything belongs to me.
I guess that, oh, nope, that's true, that means he wins. That's, I don't know why, but that stance looks way too, I don't know.
Well, I guess that's one
Like,
way to make friends.
posy.
Despite Sigma's deviousness and ferocity, he was fairly outclassed by Ultron's talents.
Sigma could skill to the general, who took a face full of 63 sextillion tons of TNT. But Ultron can withstand hits from Thor and his hammer, and we all know how awesome that thing is.
When Thor fought Gore the God Butcher, their battle created shockwaves powerful enough to shatter planets thousands of miles away. This can only be possible with a force equivalent to 682 septillion tons of TNT.
And as we all know, septillion is way bigger than sextillion.
And not only has Ultron frequently smacked Thor around like a toddler, Thor has had a really hard time trying to damage Ultron's adamantium armor, so Sigma's weapons couldn't either.
In terms of speed, Ultron flew across the galaxy in several months, putting him roughly 200,000 times the speed of light. That's leagues faster than Sigma, even if we scale him to Duo, who is 114 times light speed. And frankly, scaling to Duo through Mega Man in the first place is a bit capricious, as Duo didn't use his full potential in their fight.
Everything he had.
Even with all that, it really
it's always like that, huh?
Punch harder or move faster, because the real fight was between the Ultron AI and the
Sigma all that explosion and stuff meant nothing until we got to this segment.
Was kind of the Sigma virus's thing. Ultron's AI was far more advanced. Recall how he enslaved an entire techno-organic race to the point where he used them to conquer an empire spanning a whole satellite galaxy.
Yeah, the Phalanx are like Marvel's version of the Borg. Hell, that means Ultron basically Sigma'd a whole race of Sigmas.
It also helps that Ultron is as smart or smarter than Hank, the scientist supreme. Hank's even admitted as much, and he's smart enough to construct an infinitely sized mansion in a higher dimension of existence. Sigma was certainly a ruthless schemer, but nowhere near that level.
The only time Ultron was ever defeated by a virus was one specifically designed to bypass his defenses and leave him vulnerable to attack from the future and a bunch of other complicated stuff.
Attack for the... Alright.
Was a tenacious
yeah.
man, but Ultron was the stronger
Done.
android, the tougher villain, and the deadlier virus.
It wasn't long before Ultron Sigma-lated him.
The winner is Ultron.
All right. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Down below and get it off iTunes. And we still have a few limited edition 100 episode posters
So
left.
let's see
so
who's
if
next.
you want to pick one up, just click that box right over there.
Next time. Oh, Master Roshi and Jericho. Oh. Death Battle Y. Death Battle Y. Look, before I get into this madness, I'm gonna talk about, you know, the things that we should talk about first. The fight. I like the fight. Again, wasn't too keen on the victor on this one. This was one of those, okay, it can go either way, and I still wouldn't care as much. But, you know, the fight itself, when it comes to animation, was great. The fact that they were able to put in a lot of other Mavericks and Voltron's army put together, it reminded me a lot of the old fight of Dr. Wily versus Dr. Eggman, where it wasn't necessarily the two geniuses. It was how their robots could fight one another and see who could win that way. So with this battle, it was really fun. Now, as for Ultron, I could see how he could win. Again, I didn't know that much about Sigma, but damn, does he have some impressive feats? I can tell you that much. Like, I did not know the Mega Man universe was that strong. there were many. Well, Mega Man X universe, because I got a little bit of a taste on how powerful Mega Man's universe was due to the Mega Man versus Astro Boy fight. Even though, see, there's always like someone needs to tell me the hierarchy when it comes to what you do not do when you're putting up certain characters against other characters. Such as, there's video games kind of being a little bit at the bottom, because video games can only show so much and do so much to showcase levels of strength, speed, and stuff like that. And also it goes up for interpretation, because they have to keep it balanced enough for, you know, to survive, and whatnot. And then you have shows such as anime anime, movies, and other things like that. Anime is like one of those juggernauts, but then you have comics, especially Marvel and DC comics. Marvel and DC comics can span across anything. And if you think this weak person, like, I don't know, Ant-Man is probably like weak in certain regards, because all he can, like, on paper, he can shrink himself. But then you go into the Marvel comics and you see, oh, he can also, I don't know, shrink himself so small he can grab onto an atom and break it apart and cause a nuclear explosion or something. I don't know. But the whole thing about that is comics, whenever a Marvel or DC character is coming in, I always need to make sure I know that it's not going to be the movie ones that most people are familiar with. It's going to be the comic ones, where they're going to have a lot of other stuff to showcase that they are beyond the level of what you possibly believe. And when it comes to Sigma, he definitely had a lot of great feats, but according to what the end result was, is he didn't even have that much of a chance, considering that Sigma did not pull off anything that well, at least if he did, he didn't do it to the greatest degree that Ultron did when he took over that AI race. Now, going on to the next fight, I honestly don't want to talk about this one very much, because here's the thing. There's like many things to talk about, and there's many things not to talk about. Politics and Naruto versus Dragon Ball Z characters. Okay, has always been the two things in life no one should talk about. It's written in stone, for Christ's sakes. Politics and Dragon Ball versus Naruto characters. Do not just openly talk about it, because you will set someone off and you will get mountains, and I'm talking about mountains of comments spanning through paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs on people saying that this and that and that and this, that and that and that and this. All I can say right here is my personal opinions on both characters, and I will not talk anything, at least I'll try not to talk anything about what this battle is going to entail. I love Jiraiya. He was my favorite character in pretty much all of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden until he inevitably at that point bit the dust, and it sucked. heavily. It was one of the many times I shed a tear in that series. It was very emotional, and I didn't shed a tear once during all of Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball in general. So Master Roshi in and of itself. And here's the problem with this. There are Master Roshi versus Jiraiya battles already done, like by Animation Rewind, I believe, and like a few other people. And from what I remember from watching those things, Jiraiya won those fights. Primarily because we can all agree Jiraiya has way more things to use against Roshi. We can all agree on that. But just because you have a wide array arsenal does not automatically give you the victory, as we all know as well. However, what most people don't seem to want to try to come to an understanding and agreement on is that just because somebody is stronger than somebody, it doesn't automatically make the guy who is weaker than that person, who can probably blow up a mountain and the other one can only blow up a house, they immediately lose. Because I'm willing to say that Jiraiya is smarter than Roshi, but and Roshi is a moonbuster, so of course he's more powerful than Jiraiya. But most people think that Naruto characters can't move faster than bullets, so they think Jiraiya can get him in a speed advantage, but they seem to forget that Kakashi cut a lightning bolt in half, which last time I checked, lightning is way faster than bullets. So, and last time I checked, Jiraiya is more powerful, or at least comparable to Kakashi, so he's definitely a lightning timer, so whatever. So all I have to say is, do not, for Dragon Ball Z fans, do not underestimate Jiraiya simply because he cannot blow up a moon. And all I have to say to Naruto fans, don't think just because he has jutsu that far outseeds anything Roshi has probably ever seen before, means that he's going to win. Now, if you want me to actually say who I'm going to be rooting for, so I don't cheat, like let's say, man, I really don't want to feel stupid about this, I better find out the end. No, I'm going to say my piece now. I believe Jiraiya has this one, only because I listened to those other battles that did it, and I honestly agree. Roshi's strong, but most of his attacks have a very long startup. Just because his Ki Blast can move fast does not mean that he cannot dodge them or counterattack with his own moves. And last and surely not least, it really depends on whether or not... This is where the deciding factor really comes into play, for me, at least. It really decides whether or not Death Battle says that chakra and ki are the same thing. If chakra and ki are the same thing, then Jiraiya has this for one reason and one reason only. When he gets into Sage Mode, which they're probably going to have to do, let's say Roshi's trying to do a Kamehameha, and Jiraiya is trying to get into Sage Mode. He's been charging up Sage Mode for a while. He gets Ma and Pa, and he tells Ma and Pa to put him in a Genjutsu. Since Ki and Chakra are the same thing, the Genjutsu will work, and Jiraiya will have literally no way of breaking out of that. Because if 3 paths of pain together can't break out of this particular Genjutsu I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure Master Roshi has nothing he can do to break out of it either, and he's done for. So that's the only thing that comes to my mind when it comes to this battle. Clearly, I can also say, well, Roshi Speed Blitz, done. That's not a fun battle. So obviously, they're going to have to try to think of a way to make this a fight, because then they wouldn't make this a fight, right? So, alright, I said my piece. If I had to say anything about Roshi, it's the fact that Dragon Ball Super is stupid, and I hate the show so much. I don't care how many people don't like me for saying that, but seriously, Dragon Ball Super is the worst thing that ever happened to Dragon Ball, in my personal opinion. And the fact that Master Roshi is now considered to be, multi-star level, almost galaxy level, simply because he participated in the tournament, I hate that. Alright? I was perfectly content with him being a Moonbuster, and maybe then some a Planet Buster, if you really want to go that far, but all the way up to star level, and even then some, because he's in the Tournament of Power, is dumb. I hate Dragon Ball Super and his power scaling. Everyone else does, especially even Seth the Programmer, who is the power scaling god. That's all I gotta say. So, if they're gonna be using Dragon Ball Super, then yes, Roshi has this due to bullshit. But if they're just gonna use Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z Roshi, yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a much better fight, and a more fair fight, because I find that to be a much better thing. And I see why they already want to put these two together. They're both the quote-unquote senseis, well, not even quote-unquote, just straight-up senseis of the main characters, and they're both perverted old men, so I can guarantee they're going to have a segment where they are peeping on girls, or that's how the battle starts. They're both peeping on girls, and one of them is getting in the way of their peeping, and that's where they get into a fight. Because, goddammit, if Sonic and Mario are going to kill each other over a chair, I'm pretty sure Jiraiya and Roshi are going to kill each other to try to get a good view of women. So, that's pretty much all I got to say. So, yeah, can't wait to read the comment section of this video. and mostly just talk about the battle. Talk about the battle of Ultron versus Ultra Sigma. That first. Then you can save all your comments when the actual battle comes out 3 weeks from now. Let's do that. Let's try to do that, shall we?